Ta-da! I've figured out what I was doing wrong to go live. So, okay. What do I got here? I just have all. Sorry, I have crazy glue. That's weird that doesn't want to last like that. All right. Pardon me while I fix a paintbrush. The cap and everything popped off of the thing, and I just need to put some crazy glue on it to fix it. And put the cap on like that. And then I'm going to put the cap on that, put it in my pile, and just make sure it sticks. I'm going to try to clamp that. Oh heavens. All right, that doesn't want to work. All right, we'll just put this off to the side and use it later. Happy Sunday afternoon, everyone. So, no, this is not the same pumpkin, and pardon while I move this out of the way. There we go. This is not the same pumpkin that I was doing last week. This is one I put in the post that I actually have 4 of these. This is the first one that I bought. This one was from 2022, and this is my first attempt at painting these. I was trying to do something fun and different with them. The style of each of the pumpkins are pretty much different from the other ones that I bought later in 2023, but at least you can see what I have, how I painted it. I did have to do some touch-ups to it, and especially this guy, I didn't really finish him, and this guy, I really liked how I did the other one, and so I did this one the same way to make it look like a funky gourd. And as you can see, this one has a different mouth than the other one. I like this mouth more than the other ones, but I will have to, give me 1 second here to move a lamp out of the way. These things are huge. You know, they are a good 3 feet, but there's that pumpkin. Again, this was my first attempt at this, and I am going to keep this one for myself. And also, as you can see, I painted the inside of the nose and mouth and eyes with a lighter color. On this one, it looks cute, but I think I am going to paint them black for other, just to help them pop, because they kind of get lost. And what I also have that I've found in my fun paints that I have is this. It is Folk Art Invisible Glow in the Dark paint. It actually goes on clear. Hold on 1 second here. Mm. There we go. Oops, no, that's not that one. Back to the popsicle sticks. This is what it looks like. And what I do with some of my popsicle sticks is I will paint this black and white on them so that I can see what the how it looks like on the different backgrounds on some things. So if I can try to zoom in here a little bit closer for you guys. So there you'll see that on some of them, I do it a lot on my on these metallic ones, because sometimes the metallic, you can see it kind of changes the color once it gets on a darker colored paint on it, where on white you may need to paint it on thing, and the top part here is, if it's no paint underneath it, it's just the color of the wood. So I use these to help me figure out like what's it actually going to look like on the wood or on the surface. And the white would be, if I was doing ceramic or stuff, that would be the color that it would be here. But if I painted it, painted the color underneath it, it would pop up. But on these two, I have this invisible glow in green, and I have it in purple. And I wanted to see what it would look like on purple or even on green background paint. And you actually, and even on white and black, you really can't see it very well. So, and it does light up. Let me see if, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it. Let me turn off my lights. No, there's too much light in the room to do that. All right, let's turn it back on. But I'm going to paint them black, and I'm going to put this in the inside of it too. Don't tell my mom, because I will, whichever one she picks, she's going to get it, and then she's going to put it on her porch or something, and then her enclosed porch or something, and it's going to be like, oh wait, it's glow in the dark. She loves glow in the dark stuff. So, but that's, I'm going to do that to these guys. So put this group back. Move him out of the way. Turn my light back on. Okay. As I said, this is an older one, and as I was fixing it up and doing some touch-ups to it that I've missed the first time around, I looked at the back side of this, and I am going to paint each one of these a different level or different color, like just non-traditional stuff. Like I'm going to do maybe a silver and there are white pumpkins, but I'll probably I may make this one as a white one with the gray drips on it to kind of make it look like a monotone one. But then I'll do a black pumpkin and then something else for the bottom. But here, as you can see, there's the old sticker for it from 2022. I can take that off. Or not. Okay, I'll have to take the hair dryer and apply it to that. The only thing that I see on this one is I've actually got, because these are done as layers, they're basically kind of like plywood. If you can really see that, but yeah, it started to peel off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to shoot a little bit of wood glue down in there and put a clamp on it and try to get that to seal up before I paint it. I've got a little bit damage here too. And oh yeah, I got damage here on the side like that. Yeah, you can really see that. So this one, like I said, I'm going to keep it. There are a couple other ones that have damage like this along the edges. For some reason, this back piece, whatever I guess it's called, I guess you would call it a veneer. When they glued this on, the glue didn't quite stick. You can also see up here on the top one, it's got some, like, I want to say water damage to it or something. Something happened. I don't know how, but it's got something here that I'm going to need to fix before I paint it and fix it up. And I will spray coat the whole thing with the Krylon clear glaze front and back so that it's pretty solid. This thing is not going to get it's not going to be put outside. Mine isn't. I don't believe my mom's will. She'll probably hang hers on the inside of her door. My sister, I don't know what she's going to do with hers, but I'll let them know that these are more for indoor. They really shouldn't be exposed to the elements that much. But this is what that looks like. So let me move this one off to the side. Please stay. Don't fall over. Stay. Okay. So here's the one I was working on last week. And this is kind of where we left off. And here you can see, there's my gray pumpkin. I did eventually put a little bit of a different gray on it, a lighter gray, and I think it helped pop it out a little bit more. So I'm actually happy with that. This is the modeling paste. It actually, it's kind of neat. We'll paint this today. Here is that gourd. He's cute. And actually, when I had it off to the side and I was looking at it, I was like, it kind of looks like I gave him a beard, like I gave him, 5 o'clock shadow. That this is the beard section. So, but he looks cute. I think he's neat. So, but what I did do, I pre-painted this guy and a little bit of this guy. This one, trying to set my stuff down. Rested on something that didn't fall. Okay. This guy is going to look like those ones that have they're kind of like a white pumpkin, but they have yellow or yellow-orange in the grooves of the thing. So we will paint this one. I will paint some highlights on this one to get it to be more like a standard orange pumpkin. or jack-o'-lantern. But I do want to show, I was trying to make things move easier. And where's he at? There he is. So last week I mentioned about whether or not using the modeling paste and using foam stuff like sealant foam. And so this is what it looks like. I painted these ones like just the base colors, but here's what it looks like. Oops. For a warty pumpkin, you can definitely see the warts are much more prominent on the one I did spray foam versus the one I did with just the modeling paste. They're both cool. I will take them both. They're neat. This one though was oh, I see, I missed a spot. That's the only problem with this. I can see, and it's small enough and short enough that I can get the paintbrush into it. But when I had to do into like a section in here, or to make sure that I covered all of the nooks and crannies that the foam created, I can see I missed a spot right there. So I will fix that later. But this is a different version of that. The modeling paste I probably could have used, like if I used the piping bag for icing and put that in there and made larger chunks, I would have gotten the same texture in a way. But I liked how this is not going anywhere. Those things are stuck on. So all those little nodules, all those warts are stuck. And it took the acrylic paint quite well. And it should be able to handle the clear glaze that I put on it, because I mentioned a different project that I was working on for Halloween, and I made toxic barrels. Ouch. Sorry. Let me pull my iPad out and I will show you what those look like. Photos. Whoops. No, not that one. Where is my albums of Halloween? There we go. Photos. This is what those look like. And with these, I took the same foam and sprayed it on, and it stuck to the barrel. They like a couple of the smaller chunks, like the pieces that hang off here that are loose, those did break off as moving them around and things over the years. I made this in 2018, and they still look like this. They're still really good. But I took spray paint and sprayed the green onto them, and so I don't think there'll be any problem with me painting these with acrylics and then hitting them with a clear gloss and spraying over time. Sometimes you have to worry about foams if you use a spray paint that it eats the foam. Styrofoam, it does that too. But you have to take the styrofoam and coat it with actually wood glue to get it as a layer, a protective layer, so that you can carve the styrofoam, but you have to put a coating of wood glue over it to protect the foam itself. But that's what those look like. That's one of them all lit up. He's kind of cool. And that was the first year I did it. I had the set up my yard to have some toxic waste in the yard. I thought it was so cool. There's what it looked like in the daytime. And that's what it looked like in the daytime. I used a fogger and put it in the back side of it so that I could try to get the fog to drift good. But it was kind of windy that day, and so the fog just went to the back of the house. Didn't work as planned. There's another. That's an actual real pumpkin that I painted 1 year. And there's some silly things that I've done with pumpkins. So let's move that off to the side. And so this guy, I see I missed a little crevice spot there. It was a pain in the butt to try to get the paintbrushes into. I had to try to make sure that I kept them away, but used a lot of paint to get the paintbrush underneath and to make sure that I've got every part of that covered. It was much easier to do it on using the modeling paste, but it's still going to look pretty cool. So this is next week's. Whoops. Knocked another one over. All right. Stay. Okay. So let's move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing a little bit more. All right. So what I can use is I can use these, or I might actually use this. I bought a bucket of these things. I'll try to use them. So, oops, I closed up. Okay. So I need some good colors of greens for this because this type of gourd, where's my picture of the gourds? There we go. Actually, let me see if I can. Airdrop. What the heck did I do? Hold on 1 second, folks. Trying to. There we go. Okay, there we go. This is what this guy's going to look like. Well, in theory. The other one will definitely look like that because, look how huge the lumps, the warts are on this. This guy is going to be more like, so these look like they are a nice medium green with some little bit of dark green here and there. You can see there are a lot of lumps that are still orange, which is fine. Some of them have a little bit of yellow to them, like a yellow green. But like this one down here in the corner is a little bit yellow to it. So that is what I'm aiming for this one. So let's find some nice colors of green. Mm-hmm. Whoa, don't knock that over. I believe. Get my necklace of color. See what oranges look really good. Greens look good with this oranges. No, we don't look those. Okay. Shamrock. Oh, shamrock would be good. Actually, shamrock would be good. The dark foliage green would be good too. It's this one right here. And I actually think shamrock would be good. So I wanted to do a dark green with that shamrock. I could apply that one, the woodland green. Okay. How did I do? What is it? I did knock something over. Oh, I knocked my foam board. Foam on the floor. Oh, geez, what's going on? What am I stuck on? I got a new chair here in my room, and it's just a little bit too big. Give me that. I got to. Oh, geez. Pick up all the dog hair. Oh my gosh, there we go. Okay, here, chew on your bone. Puppy dog is underneath my seat too, so I gotta make sure that she doesn't try to chew anything that falls on the floor. Okay. Alrighty. I said that's phthalo green. Alright, so my woodland green is very old. It is, just to show you what the label change looked like between the two of them. You can see the label's cracked. I don't have 1997. Yeah, that paint's pretty old. Oh boy. Okay. So hold on, let me look to see if I have I have an Excel sheet of all the paints that I have, and the beginning of the year I went through them and looked to see, because I can buy like this apricot. You can tell I have the same number on the top of them. This apricot is the same color as the squash blossom from Deco Art, which is fine because if I run out of the one, I've got the spare to use. My issue is, though, sometimes, and this is the reason why I also use those popsicle sticks to do things, is this is a Deco Art yellow, and it is number 25. Double look at my numbers. Right. You can see that that says 2504. Yellow. This is ceramic coat yellow 2504. They do not look the same, and they are not the same. If I open them up, you can see how that is a more sunshiny yellow, and this is a more deeper yellow. It's not because of the color has changed over time. It's because they are two different things. So that's why I get kind of meticulous on doing what I do with the paints and the colors and why I have so many brands, why I use so many different colors, is because I end up with stuff that gets discontinued, and then I really like that color and I can't find that color. So that's my problem with that one. So this woodland green. Let's see. Oh, I think I'll pull it open. If you've stuck with me so far, please subscribe to the channel so that you can join in the chat if you have any questions. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. Okay. Since that is a light, I'm not going to do that. Give me... Yeah, that's a small brush. Okay. Let me move this down so it's more in the shot. All right. And I said shamrock was going to be the other color, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Where's the two? Sorry. $98.1. Do I have that there? I have another one. Maybe I put it off to the side of like how the different colors and stuff are. I have another one that's a purple where it is the same brand, same code. The color is off. So it's a purple one that I probably have hidden the one version of it. So, okay, anyways, I'm going to just take this instead of doing the sponge of the bigger one. So I am just going to sponge this lightly. And it does get a little muddy. It does get to be more like a brown because of the orange underneath, which is fine. I can go over it, make it a little bit darker. And I am just going to dab the top of it. I'm not going under the side because there's no way I can do that on this. On the bigger ones, I might be able to on some of them. I might actually paint them. But the way these things look at, they're very, there's no rhyme or reason to the way nature makes these. And also this paint is very watery. I might, hold on, let me shake it up again and get some more up in my lid. And yeah, that's kind of a dark green, but move it off to the side so I don't bump it. And I am just dabbing it around as I see fit. I'll definitely do that big gob right there. That big gob. It does look cool. It's starting to look cool. All right, get these warts. Alright, I'm not getting much with the lid, so one other trick that I do is I will also, since there's paint here in the inside of the lid, I will grab that too. And I do have paints from 1997 and beyond. Have some like this. I mentioned this last time. This avocado is a Dunkin' one. There is no year on it, but I'm pretty sure this is like 19, maybe 86, 87, 88, somewhere around there. I cannot find a matching color for that. So, if any of the painting companies watch this, please make a decent avocado, like a real true avocado. That's a good avocado color. That is like 70s avocado, and a lot of new ones I just can't get anything to match it. Squeeze out a little bit, and you put a little bit down here. Oop, I totally missed that one. And sometimes I go light. I apply the lightest color first. Just depends on what paint you're using to put a light color over a dark color. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on how you, what the paint consistency is. Okay, on my screen, this looks pretty cool as is. But I am going to apply just a little bit more up here to the top. And like I said, I'm just dabbing it. I'm not going into the sides, except up here on the top. I will do a little bit there. Cool. Okay, so that was Apple Barrel Woodland Green. I don't know if they make these colors. I'm sorry. Like I said, I've been painting since good long time. And I don't know if they still make that specific color. Or if they do, like I showed you with the yellow, the two different yellows, has the same lot number, but they're two totally different colors. All right. I didn't say leaf green. I said shamrock. I want to show you my new tool. I have a new toy. Because sometimes shaking these really hurts my wrists and stuff. Then I'm not. It hurts a little bit to do stuff. So I bought this. Let me show you the. I bought this thing. It is a rapid mixing thing. It is mostly really for you can put like model paint colors, the little bottles into this little clip, and then you turn the dial and it shakes. It basically spins it around and does a vortex kind of thing to it. So it spins the paint and cleans it up or mixes it up for you. So that's what I've got here. It has a clamp here, and it moves around. As you can see, it moves around in a circle. So what I'll do is, and it has suction cups on the bottom so that you can, dirty suction cups. You can really attach this to a good clean table. I had it on the table over here, and I actually had a hard time trying to get it off the table to show this. So you basically can put the paint in there like that, and then basically I'll set it off here to the side. I can move stuff out of the way, and it shakes. I will hold on to it because it's just shake. That's probably It actually does a good job. I've had some paints that were lumpy, but all I have to do is just let it run on this thing for about 30 seconds. And then release it. Where'd my thing go? There it is. Oh, that thing's been chewed up. Oh, that's why. Hold on a sec. There we go. Got the lid off. Yeah, it makes it really nice. Because sometimes they separate after having them been around for a good while. Kind of separate. So that's my fun little toy. I'm not. It says it has a dial here that goes from the blue to the yellow to the red. The red will really, really go crazy. I will only put it to like blue. I may, if the paint is thick enough, I may put it up into the into the yellow a little bit, but not much. It is supposed to run for however long you want it to do, but I have found that this will shut off occasionally. It is run by a USB-C lightning port. Just plugs into a USB plug and runs off. It is really, really nice. I really like it. But what it comes with some ball bearings, and I thought about putting them in some of my. If I can find it. What would you fall over for? Hold on. All right. It comes with these. Comes with little ball bearings, but the only problem is that they're not magnetic, and I also don't want to leave them inside the paint. I wanted the magnetic so that I could, take a magnet, put one in, put it in the spinner, and let it mix really, really good. But the only problem is that I don't want to leave these inside of this and have it ruin the paint. And if it gets rusty or leaks into the paint, I don't want that. So I wanted to actually take a magnet and try to get it to get out of the paint. But these things aren't magnetic. So I did buy silicone ones to try that I haven't tried, but the silicone ones would help stir the paint, but it would they would definitely stay in the paint, and they also wouldn't leach or be affected by the paint. So the ones I bought, I thought would be as big as that, and they aren't. They're little. About 4mm sized ones, and they're small. I would have to put a few in the thing to get it to work. So I may try to get maybe 6 or 7mm size ones so that I could drop them in there and let them swim. So these, something to play with another day. All right, so now I'm going to take this lighter green And, oh yeah, there we go. Actually, you know what? It's not light green enough. I mean, it works. Where were you? 56? Try Green Isle from Ceramic Coat. Oh yeah, that's a brighter green. Put him on his nose. Alright, doing the same thing. I am going to go over... Oh yeah, that's a good green. Here, even if I apply it to ones that I didn't do a green over, it looks cool. Now it looks like, yes, I covered over everything that was dark green. I didn't. If you could see this in person, you would see that no, there are dark green spots showing through the background. And this is a very nice thick green. It's not translucent, so it's getting a little dot down there, that guy, a little dot on that one. Let me try to lift this up so you can see the difference. Here you can see I've applied. Let me apply it here. Nice green. And because there are so many nooks and crannies in it, the darker green that I applied earlier is really does show through. So yay! He looks cool. And it's not like you have to be absolutely perfect and cover over everything that you've already done. It's very random. Because when you look at those pumpkins, they are very random. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just they are warts and they are lumpy, and they give you because you want it to look 3D-ish in this form compared to what those ones looked like. Okay, put a little dot there. Actually, I think I liked using the brush doing this instead of the foam because I'm getting a nice random pattern with it. Go up here, go here and dab. I will dab up here a little bit. And that's the nice thing about these is they don't have to be perfect because these pumpkins are far from perfect. They're perfect in their own sense. The real ones are, but I don't have to really follow any. So, dumps in there, dumps in here on the side. And it's okay if I get the wood itself because it does that. It's not just the lumps, the warts on the pumpkin that are affected with the spots. It's the paint itself or the pumpkin themselves can have some blemishes. Let's call it that. Cool. I want to say he's done. I mean, just one thing. Yeah, he looks good. I actually like that. Cool. All right, so paintbrush over there. And so I switched that. That isn't Shamrock. That's Green Isle. Green Isle is one of my good colors that they have. 54 there. If I want to. Oh yeah, let me do a little dabbing of this. Clean off my brush. And sometimes you have specific brushes for specific things. Like this is for dry brushing. You can't just really dip it in paint and paint something with it. It's more for giving an off appearance of it, like kind of like a dusty appearance. But I do have a plethora of paintbrushes that I keep, and every so often I have to replace them. But I find, like, if you can see the difference between these ones, this one's been used quite a bit, and this one's, I don't know how old he is, but sometimes you get paintbrushes that the difference between all of them is, whether or not they are made good. Sometimes these little kitty brushes, like this one with the glitter inside of them, this one actually works just as well as this one does and as this one did. This is so you don't really have to go through and buy the greatest, bestest brushes. And also, if these are called sable brushes, this one is definitely not. It's a sable type of brush, and they dyed it purple. And when I used it, I thought, oh, great, if I use white, is the purple going to get dye into it? No, it doesn't. It actually has lasted a good long time as that, and it's stayed purple. But I do have other brushes, like these are, oh, let me grab the big guy. These synthetic white brushes. And while they are good, I really don't use it that much because the paint will stain them. I've got like this guy. I use blue on it, or green on it, and it's got a green tinge to it now. It is a very nice brush. It is a good, strong brush. Even though it's Doris, it's a good brush. It's a decent brush. But some of these other brushes last just as long or even longer. And so I keep a gigantic collection of brushes that just sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't want that brush. I want to use this brush. And like I said, sometimes the kids' brushes are just as good for this type of things. If I was using it, doing watercolor paint, you definitely use different colors of brushes for that. But these things work just as well. Woo, that is green. So I'm actually just going to apply this in a couple little spots, like here. I'm very, very spread of I'm not going to cover every ounce of green on this thing that I've done. I'm just a couple spots in there, a couple spots. There, maybe down here. And as you can see, this brush has kind of gotten I don't want to say damaged from use, but it makes a good pattern to do this kind of. So you end up getting end up finding some paintbrushes that are, oh, this works great for this, and so you keep that brush for that type of thing. Again, if you've stuck around with me through this long, please subscribe. I'm going to be working on these throughout September. And I do other things, not just these. You can see that I do mandalas. I will be posting something that I wood burned here for my dad's passing. It's the anniversary. I have a memorial thing for him. Okay. I'm going to do one right there. It actually looks cool. I wish you could see this in person because it did create some extra oomph to it, just to do a little bit. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see. Again, I didn't want to cover every ounce of green with it because those pumpkins don't have that. Alrighty. And the brush. Okay, you can go in the pile. Alrighty. Now to flip this guy around. So I'm going to say that pumpkin's done. I suppose I should paint the top. I really can't paint the top because I ran out of room on my table. Actually, hold on one second here. Let me double check. I'm got some Googling of pictures of what the top stem looks like on these. And they are very plain. They actually look a lot like this. A sandy color. Yeah. That's a nice color. This is Americana Desert Sand. So I'm going to paint nice. Paint that here. Sometimes with painting some of these, as you can see this, hopefully you can. Go back to YouTube so you can see what I'm looking at. Trying to find a spot that shows it. Really can't see it very well here. But when you sponge and dab, you end up showing the grain, the actual grain of the wood, not the pattern of the wood, the grain within the wood. And so this section here has some really, and it's like kind of where the wood's damaged when it shows. What the heck did I do there? A little dab of water. And sometimes when you put the paint on, it actually won't fill in those gaps. So you have to make sure your paint is pretty liquidy to do that. And because that's what I'm getting up here in this top section when I'm trying to paint. And I had it here too. So I'm actually going to give a little bit of water. Just put a dab of water on my paintbrush so that I can manipulate and move the paint where it needs to go. More water. Just a tiny dab. You're not soaking your brush. You are just putting a tip in, a little bit in. Okay. Well, what I will do with this, because I can't do it on the camera way I have my setting setups, I'm going to probably dabble this just like how this one is, but I will apply some browns and some greens into it so that it looks natural. This paint here, I should have probably put in my mixer because it has, I'm not quite sure what kind of oil. It's not linseed oil. I'm not quite sure what they use in these things. But I might actually set this off to the side and run it in the machine. Get it all nice and mixed up. Okay. So while that is running, I'm going to attempt and spin around. There you can see what the top looks like. Oh, all right. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Oh, we made this up a little bit so you can see. I'm going to work on these two now. This guy, oh my gosh, dog hair everywhere. I have air compressor on me and an airbrush air compressor on me, and I can't move out of the way. So I gotta keep that there. I don't need woodland green much anymore. Alright, so this was done with orange, or apple barrel orange. It's the darkest orange that I have. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, in the main section, see there, it's shut off on me and I didn't turn it. But let's take a look at it. It's not supposed to shut off. Pop the ball. There, look how well that mixed. That mixed it perfectly. I love my little toy. Alright, so I'm actually... Where's my pencil? There it is. Let me mark that was 1, 3, 1, 2. I'm just trying to keep track of what numbers I painted everything on stuff so that I can say, oh yeah, that was this color. Because I already pre-painted the other ones with the base colors on them. So that way I can go and say, okay, yeah, that was that color. I need to recall that color back. Okay. Pardon me for 1 second. And again, painting is brought to you by nerds. Sorry if I crunch too loud. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to paint these sections here with ceramic coat buttercream, and I'm not painting over where the grooves are. I'm just painting the what would be in the pumpkin, the fat chunky bubbles of the thing. So I want to give it the appearance that it looks 3D-ish, especially this guy. He's going to look 3D-ish. So let me, if I can move that guy over just a little bit more. There we go. All right. And as I get into here, I'm actually going to just dab it. I want the paint underneath to show through a little bit. I'm not gonna, this is just going to be a lighter color. It's not going to be because that's the way these pumpkins are. So actually, let me show you what that pumpkin is. Hold on a second. Press to open airdrop. There we go. So this is the kind of pumpkin that I'm after for this section. As you can see, it's not a super white. It is kind of a creamy white. And so I want it to be very mottled. Zoom in on that a little bit. See how it even in the meaty chunky parts, it still has some modeling into it. I want that to show through, so I want that to be there. And these are totally up to the artist's expression or feelings as to how much. I'm pulling it as like dry brushing it. And I'm painting the outside of it good. But I am dry brushing it in a little bit so that I get the color of the original. Oh, the original color, I believe I did make it the squash blossom. So that is what the orange yellow color is. working on something like this that is so long and so is a and oddly shaped. It's kind of hard for me because I'm used to moving things around so that I can go, oh yeah, I can spin it and things. So it gets to be kind of hard to do that this way, that I can't see where I'm coming from this way to match what I've done this way. So spots. Okay. Thing there. That's good. You can see how that is starting to look kind of mottled. Oops. Oh. Pardon me while I flip this up on its side and I try to paint the outer edge of this. I'm painting this because I didn't paint it with the previous orange color. And I want to make sure that when I spray it with the clear glaze, that I'm not missing any spots. Halloween's coming. Yay. I just get a big drop. So when I do these rough edges like this, oh hi Rhonda. Oh no, you'll be good. Here I actually missed a spot. I try to really brush it down into those grooves because they will pop up. Let's see if I can. No, all right. That didn't do what I thought I was going to do. Oh my gosh, dog hair everywhere. Move this around on my table. He's looking cool. Put some dots. Good. Let me get the bottom end here. This guy. Okay, drivers off. Time. 5:30. Okay. A little bit deeper. Right up through the middle. Okay. Give it a little bit tips. Cool. Thank you, Rhonda. Oh, he looks good. He looks good. A little bit dabs there. More dabs over here. Cool. All right. Oops, wait a sec. I forgot something. Forgot to paint the edge on this one. Oh, quiet over there. We have Rhonda in the chat. Rhonda, I saw the flooding in, I think it was Charleston, South Carolina, from the other day. And the idiots driving through the stuff. I have only seen flooding bad from Hurricane Ivan from, good heavens, was that 2004 or 2005? Maybe 6. Might have been 6. And saw somebody try to drive through flooding there. But the only thing I've kind of come close to it was we had a water main break, and I was driving a truck, and my mom and my husband were with me, and I said I didn't want to drive through it. I wanted to get away from it because you don't know with a water main break whether or not any more chunks of stuff, or whether or not you would sink, kind of things. And they were like, no, drive over it. Like, no, I don't want to. No. So they made me drive over it, and as we did. Oh. If you hear any woofing, that's my puppy. She's screaming, and apparently she's chasing after something. She's really going to town underneath my desk. That's about the only thing that I've ever done. And then after we drove over, oh, there were my things. Sorry, puppy, if I woke you up. Something fell. That I've driven over something, and after we did drive over it, they were like, yeah, actually, that probably wasn't a good idea. Like, yeah, you think? My mom's not from here in Pittsburgh, so sometimes I have to, when I tell her, that it was, this specific road, and I give the name, I like, oh, no, it's the road that we had the water main break on. Oh, okay, I know the road. Yeah, so, yeah, these little itty bitty cars trying to drive through the water is just insane. It's like, you really, you think you are invincible, really, inside of your own vehicle, and you don't think anything else of it. All right, so I'm going to tackle this guy, and first I'm going to do this dark orange. And with some people, they can't see out of their own cars to judge what's in front of them, based really what they're driving under. Some people kind of there's a term for it, that you just get so focused on driving that it's you don't really bother to keep your head on a swivel. You were just so totally focused on the road. You are not doing anything else, and you don't see the deer that's about to jump out in front of you, or you don't see the kid that lost his ball, and the ball's kid running out in front of you to get the ball. Some people just get in that zone and they can't do anything. That's the only way they know how to drive, is grab the wheel and drive it like it's a video game. I know quite a few people who drive like that, and they scare me if I have to ride with them. I really, really try not to. That might be to do it for insurance, but I don't know. I think just some people just get too oblivious to what they're driving in a car, and it becomes like living in your house. Nothing can happen to you in your house, your car. You're not you just don't believe that other people are out there, and that like when you're in a parking lot and you at a Walmart or something, and somebody jumps in their car and instantly throws it into reverse and backs out, and you're standing right behind them. Like, they don't care. They don't realize that you are behind them, and that there needs to be a cushion. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of dry brushing this on. It is a little damp, but I'm like really just using this orange to give it the depth that it needs to pop up, because like from here I've got a good color. I don't know if I'll actually do I'm liking how that looks. So, oh geez, people driving Mustangs and Camaros, they have no don't do that to a Mustang. Camaro, okay, maybe not, but Mustangs are my favorites. If I could I had a Mustang. It was I loved it until I lost it in a car wreck, and it was just big heavy traffic, and on a stretch that's been fixed. It's been corrected. It has been funny that of the places that I have been in accidents, there has been corrections made to it so that nobody else has that same accident. Where I lost my Mustang, They have fixed it. It was a 1-lane road. They expanded it into a 2-lane, double road, and put stoplights in ahead of the intersection that mine happened, so that the flow of traffic actually slows down to get to that intersection. So we had somebody just pull out in front of us, and actually they pulled out in front of somebody else in front of us, and we couldn't stop in time. And now that whole section has been fixed. There was another section north of Pittsburgh, that they should not have made a left-hand turn onto a road like that, where it was 2 lanes in both directions. Somebody was coming out of an apartment complex and made a left-hand turn. There was a van blocking his view of me coming in the passing lane of the van, and he pulled right up in front of us. So, and now, the last time I was up there was a big sign saying no left turns there, so they've fixed it. When I was a kid, we had a Mustang, a 65. My dad tried to fix it up. Actually, I was in an accident in that one. Had somebody tried to make a left-hand turn from the right-hand lane across us, and we were not ready for that. And my nose kissed the dashboard really good. I remember that. But I've always liked Mustangs. If I win the ow doggy, ow. If I win the Powerball on Monday night, I will get a new Mustang. Or an older one. Get an older one with all of and have it modified with the bells and whistles that are all the technology that's in the new ones. That'd be fun. Okay. This orange is kind of, it can be translucent, so that's why it is actually working. It's kind of watery, so that's why it is doing really, really good as this dry brush on this. I did. I cried. I had just got the engine rebuilt, and it was it had knocked the piston down through the engine block, and I had just got it back, and ended up oh boy, we ended up not that happened here in Pittsburgh. We were coming down here for a Penguin game, and ended up having to get, this was before Uber and before Lyft and any of those, so we actually had to get a taxi to come out, pick us up, because we were outside of the city, and go in. We missed the first period of the Penguins game. The Penguins sucked. But what's funny is I had made airbrushed a sign for that game, and it was the first time that I had brought the sign to a Penguin game, and so one side of it said "Go Pens" and the other side said "Go Yager," and we went to the game. We were still kind of in shock of the Mustang and stuff, but of the accident and stuff. Nobody was hurt. It was just, we were stuck without a car because I went under. The front of my Mustang went underneath another larger vehicle that was up, and it totally ruined my Mustang. I couldn't drive it. And so we were stuck in Pittsburgh for a weekend, kind of. It was on a Sunday, and so we had to get a taxi in to see the game, and then we didn't know what to do after that because we didn't have cell phones weren't around, so we couldn't really get a hold of anybody directly to have them come down and get us. So we had to make do with what we had. My cousin was living here at the time, and so we got a hold of her, and somehow we got a hold of her. We ended up trying to just stay overnight at her place. She had a little apartment, and we just needed a place to crash. I knew that there were buses between Pittsburgh and our town, so I knew that we could at least try to get a bus home if we couldn't get a hold of anybody to actually come down and pick us up. And that's what we ended up doing. It was weird. It was like the taxi people, we didn't know the bus system for us to know to be able to get on a bus and come to downtown from where my cousin was, or to get around. So we didn't know any of that. So we ended up just getting a taxi and trying to use that. And the taxi people were like, "What are you doing this for? What do you?" We also didn't know that at the time, Pittsburgh had their own kind of Lyft Uber thing beforehand. They called them jitneys, where you could just call up this person and say, "Hey, I need a ride from point A to point B," and they'd come and take care of you. And so they were more like the Ubers of now. And it was just funny that the taxi people were just like, "What are you using us for? This is, they wanted the people from the like the airports to the hotels. That's what they totally did. That's all that they did. They didn't really do any of the smaller stuff like we did, but we did, and we made it work and got home without having to worry about anything. And they had to have my brother bring me back down to. They took my Mustang to a junkyard, and there were some things that I wanted to get out of it, so I had my brother drive me down. And his Mustang, he liked my Mustang so much, he went out and got a can't remember. I think his was an 89. Mine was an 87. Had him drive me down and get some stuff out of the Mustang and say my goodbyes to it. But my Mustang was it was a tan color. It was a really, really cool tan color. I loved it. It was, so if I got a new Mustang, and if I could, really, really pick a color for it, I would get it painted the same color tan that one was, because it was a nice, it was a really, really cool color. And it didn't, like, when when it was dirty, you couldn't tell. It was one of those ones because it just was like you'd look at it and you'd be like, "Is it dirty?" And then you'd go up, put your finger and wipe the dirt off, and then you could see that it was dirty. Otherwise, you could not tell that it was dirty at all. It was a really nice car. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna let that dry just a tiny bit more, and I'm gonna go back to this guy. And oh, tell Jerlea I said hi. That's okay. Totally fine. Stuff happens. Let's see. What color did I do you? I did use that. See, I get as far as car colors, I choose. I like either gold or silver because those two, unless it's winter up here where you've got a lot of where you get the salt on the cars and stuff. When your car is silver, you really can't see it that well. It doesn't look bad at all. But if you have, like our current car is a dark purple, yeah, I have to clean it off a lot because it really, really shows up badly. And I don't. So I have to, if I could do tan, gold, or copper, or not copper, tan, gold, or silver, those colors do really, really good with the road grime, and so you don't, it doesn't look like you have to clean them up as much or get car washes as much. This spaceship that we have now is crazy. It's gorgeous, but it's like absolutely insane with the how much I have to keep it clean because it's a gorgeous color. I feel like I have to keep it clean in order to make it look. I've had people as I'm commuting into work, I've had people go, "Hey, is that a wrap or is it the color of the car?" And I'm like, "No, it is the official color of the car," and it's just really neat. And we have somebody else in the neighborhood we thought we were walking away with the an individual kind of car, and no, somebody else in the neighborhood went and got the same kind. So whatever, it's cool. I definitely have stickers and stuff on the windows on mine that I've made with my Cricut to call out the difference between ours. So, but anyways, I am taking, this is cantaloupe. It's a nice color. And I'm just applying extra little dots to this to really call out a little bit more of the yellow orange in these. Just helps. And I don't want to do like some people when they can't, when you have something like this that has no pattern, some people think that they can just go do a zigzag, but then you end up seeing the pattern, and there is no pattern to these. You just dot wherever you feel like. I've worked with some people and showing them how to paint where they only know conformity. They don't know anything else. So, like those two, I dabbed that up a little bit more so I don't have them to the similarities between any of these. That's where I know some people just have, if they don't have a pattern in front of them, they can't do it. You have to really make them scatter. Oh yeah, I do not like a white car. I've actually that was the first car I had was a white. And how old was I? 18 or 19. 19, actually, probably about 19. We were driving. My dad and I were driving along through our little itty bitty tiny town, just basically a 2 light town. One light on one end of town and another light on the other end of town. And there were there was a Buick dealership in the little downtown area that had a big, not really a big, I'm going to say, like a little car lot. And they had a used car lot off to the side. And they had dad was after, I had started a job at the factory, and dad was, actively looking to get me a car so that I could work second shift. I started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we don't normally drive through that area of town, but we did. And I just happened to look over and I saw a car, and it had a big $500 on the window sticker on the car. And I laughed and said, that car is $500. I wonder if it includes the engine. And my dad slammed on the brakes and almost put me through the windshield, like, where's this car? And it gets back there, and we pulled into the place and found it, and he was like, okay, here's a car for you. And I put the $500 down, and it was a Dodge Aries station wagon, white, with blood red interior. I mean, blood red. Everything was red inside that car. It was so fugly. And it was also a stick shift. So I had to learn how to drive a stick shift like in 2 days so that I could drive myself to work. And so my dad showed me how to drive a stick, and I do prefer sticks, especially in the winter. I know how to downshift and not use the brakes to like when you start to slide or something, you can just downshift to be able to get out of that. So yeah, had that car for a little bit until we found the Mustang. The Mustang was a much better fit for me. And my mom took the station wagon because she liked it more, and I'd still drive around in it a little bit, but that became her car after I finished with it. So, but he looks kind of cool. All right. Now, a 6-speed stick shift. I have only done 5 speeds. And I've actually also driven 3-speed on the comm. My dad had a he bought a hippie van. He bought a 69 Ford van off of this one guy. And we had to learn how to shift from the gear. And that's actually kind of the way mine is now. Mine has it on the comm. It doesn't have it down on the panel. But it's all electronic, so you have to play around with it to get it to go into gear. And that is an orange. Actually, get a little bit of water on this, so then I can spread that out a little better. There we go. Right. I had to switch to automatics because my husband Sal can't. I tried to show him how to drive a stick, and he just can't get it. He just has issues. And also, it kind of kills your knees for trying to shift and do it quickly, and like especially when you go to pull out. There's obviously Pittsburgh has a lot of hills, and so you'll always would just it gets also a little anxiety because people will pull right up behind you and get close, and you are on a hill and you're going to try to switch between the clutch or switch between your foot between the brake and the gas, and also release the clutch at the same time and not drift backwards into the person behind you. So it ended up having to switch to just a regular automatic. Yeah, pretty much you can drive anything after you learn how to do one stick shift. It's just whether or not it's on the comm or on the floor. I think it helps. I think it helps you drive. It helps you understand how the car works. You feel more of the car. You can tell when the car is not acting right. And in the wintertime, you can feel when your tires are slipping, and it just it gives you a more overall sense of the car. So I think everybody should. Some people can't even drive a regular car or an automatic. So, but I think that that everybody should at least try it. We used to have, when I was a kid, we used to have a Volkswagen Beetle, a Super Beetle, that that's another car that I love. I loved having our Super Beetle was painted the same color that Herbie was, the Herbie cars from the movies. And we would always we'd drive around and kids would be like, "Is that Herbie? Is that Herbie?" Driving through. I wanted my dad so badly to paint up 53 on it and put racing stripes down the center of it, and he wouldn't do that. So I'm like, oh, come on. It's just... But that's another car that I would love to have. When we cleaned up my dad's estate, he had the car still sitting in the yard, and obviously it wasn't working. But when we were looking for a car for me before I got the, actually I think it was after I got the station wagon, he did get me a Volkswagen. It was a light blue Beetle, and he was going to fix it up for me so that I could ride it. And it sat in the garage for forever, and until we took care and got rid of all of his cars and stuff out of the garage and things and out of the yard, because he had so much junk, literally almost a junkyard in the thing. So when I see those photos from Judge Middleton's group of the township saying, "Oh, there's junk cars in the yard, you got to get that out of there," I totally know where they're coming from, because that was my dad, it was good that he didn't have to deal with that kind of stuff like they do on those things that we've seen. And it's we sold the car to two guys that I told them, I said, I thought, the once they got the car, that the engine was locked up. They said that they had to just fix it up, do a little tweaking to it, and it started right up. And I'm like, darn it, I want the car back. I want a Herbie. Because those cars made a specific noise when they ran. The engine had like a tick 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 noise, and I loved it. It was, if I could have that car back, I would. But that is very true. Yes, the one thing with a stick shift is security. That nowadays a lot of people will jump into your car to try to steal it, and then they can't go anywhere because they can't get it out of first gear, or even get it into gear to even go anywhere. So yes, that was one nice thing that when I moved here to Pittsburgh, my dad was always worried about that, and I had a stick shift at the time, and I'm like, who's going to drive it? Who's going to try to get away with it? Because they certainly aren't going to get far if they did try this to run off with it. So, I kind of always teased my husband that, like, you were in the Navy, you didn't know how to drive a stick even there. And like I said, I tried to show him a couple times, and it was just too the anxiety to try to drive, to try to teach him how to drive. There really wasn't. My dad taught me how to drive in a closed the Votech. The Votech had a circle where the buses would come in and load up and, and get the kids out, and then they would drive around and exit out. So that's what we did. We did this circle constantly, just driving around and around and around and around. And that's how he told me, like, you get the feeling of when you put your foot off of the clutch and put when to press on the gas, so that you feel the car start to stall, and that's the moment you step on the gas. And so that's what we ended up doing. I just couldn't find a place here to do it. I tried to do it at a I even tried to show my sister how to drive a stick. And we went to a local mall here, and they told us we couldn't do that. They kicked us out. So not really kicked us out, but they told us we couldn't practice driving in a empty mall parking lot. They told us we couldn't do that. So it just kind of sucked that there wasn't any place to try anything like that. Okay, this guy is looking good. I actually think I like it. I'm going to say he's done. I kind of like how that's gone. It's very much like those pumpkins. Ouch. Cool. So there's... And I am going to paint the inside of these black. You didn't catch earlier. I'm going to paint the insides black. And on top of that, I'm going to put this glow-in-the-dark green paint. And that'll help. They won't be seen outside much, but these aren't really for outdoor stuff. But to show you, that's last week's progress. This is the warts that I did for that. So the only thing that I need to do is finish his little topper. And I will say that this one is done. So next week I will start... which one will I start working on? Maybe you. Oh, let me grab him. I'll probably do the same treatment like that one on this pumpkin. Or I might do a mix of things, but there's another pumpkin. Another gourd, if I can get. Hey, yeah, there we go. So there is, with the spray foam that you use to fill in gaps and stuff. That's what I did it with him. And he really, really got lumpy. Really, really warty versus the one that I have down here. So this is probably what I'll work on next Sunday. What time is it? It is after 6. So, yeah, I think this will be done. I am not going to put anything here because this is what these ones kind of look like. The paint, or sort of the extra color, is on the warts, not on the rest of the thing. Those pumpkins are very plain color, with the warts being the things, the items that have the most color. But so I am going to say this guy is done. And what I may do once I get these painted, like I probably will paint something on the back side of these. If I can remove the sticker. Easy. Hey, it came off nice and clean. And here you can see that this was for 2023 Halloween. I'm only painting it 5 years later. 2 years later. Can't count. I might paint the back of these just to have like a two-sided option to be able to say that, maybe do a black pumpkin or a gray pumpkin or a silver pumpkin, or, a white, maybe do something like that, a white pumpkin, do something like how this guy is like this, and do it on the back side of this one, but do it in gray and white and black, and just have it fun, different monotone color for it. But that is, I think that's all I'm going to paint for today. So I've got other things I got to do. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to paint for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Rhonda, for chatting. If you can always watch this again and replay the chat so that you see what I'm talking to on the side. I don't know how Lone Wolf gets. I'm assuming he uses a special program to like get the chats to pop up on the screen on live like he does. I wish I could do that so that I could post the things up and say, hey, this is what I'm talking about. So if anybody has a question, that those pop up. I'll have to ask him what he uses. But that's going to be it for today. I've been painting all weekend. I've been painting the backgrounds on the other ones all weekend. So there's 2 more of these I'm going to do. And I will start those next Sunday. I'll probably do it at 4 o'clock, maybe 3, just depends. 4 o'clock was kind of a little easier for me today. But if it's raining outside, I'll probably do 3 o'clock. But if it's nice, I might do 4, because there's lots of things I got to do on Sundays because I work during the week. So thank you very much for watching, and have a good rest of your evening and afternoon. And I am going to end this now. Thank you.